So today we are going to discuss Doverwich by Matthew Arnold. So to understand Matthew Arnold, you have to understand Victorian England. Without understanding Victorian England, it's not possible to understand Matthew Arnold at all. He has a fine sense of poetic diction that every poet doesn't possess. There are many poets we are going to get, and you would also see that. Can you see the slide now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we are going to read other poets, there are many good number of poets you are going to read in English literature. But Victorian age is little bit special because this is the age of exploration, and after ascending in the throne of England, Queen Victoria developed England such a way that it has progressed in art. It is progressed in culture. It progressed in culture, and they became financially solvent. That is the turning point. And most of the new world they have colonized, including India as well. So there are many things you are going. This age also produced poet like Alfred Lord Tennyson. So if you want to discuss Matthew Arnold, so you have to understand other poets as well. So you have to understand Victorian unrest as well. There is a term. Before I discuss, I'm going to take 2 classes on this topic, but if I don't get scheduled class, definitely I'm going to take unscheduled class as well. So what is Victorian unrest? So people usually believe that this is the age of progress. This is the age of peace, in a sense that they have some certain stability than any other kings or queens of England. But what is the unrest inside them? You have to understand it was the age of discovery and invention as well. You are going to get such a big evolutionist or scientist like Charles Darwin. So the whole Europe was really captured by those Orthodox Christianity. And when Charles Darwin published his Origin of Species, it really hammered the old belief of the common people and old belief of the church and the traditionalists. They couldn't understand where to take shelter. They couldn't really understand whether they believe in science or whether they believe in church, or there are many progressive people. They were trying to make a good relationship between science and Bible as well. But it was little bit impossible because we have seen Copernicus as well, what happened to him. We have seen Bruno, he was burned. So these types of things happened. So this is the zeal you have to understand. What people were really in dilemma, whether they believe in science or whether they believe in religion. The turmoil condition when they are between 2 lines, when they were between 2 fires. So the mental problem of Victorian people is called Victorian unrest. Victorian unrest. Try to remember the term. So in your next slide, we are going to discuss the background of Matthew Arnold. But but Dover Bridge is really a honeymoon poem. He was in honeymoon, and it is written between 1849 to 51, and he was in very jolly mood with his wife. But suddenly he began to listen to the old ideas of Sophocles as well, and he began to understand the melancholy of the common people and human being. And though it starts with jolly mood, he began to share all his feelings with his newly married wife. But in he was happy from outside, but if in his mind or inside he was a little bit gloomy. And the setting of the setting of the poem is little bit melancholic. Okay, and the reason of this is that Charles Darwin and its evolution. And when Charles Darwin was a kid, he was he was chosen in this way that he would be a priest one day. His family wanted to make him priest, and for this reason he was nourished. He was nourished that way. Someone wants to ask question. Is there any question?
স্যার একটু লাউডলি বলবেন
Okay, I will speak loudly. So it was the problem of recent invention or discovery, you may say, that Charles Darwin found in his evolution theory. So it was a big hammer for the common people of England. He wanted to, especially the Matthew Arnold wanted to tell us this thing with melancholic manner. He didn't attack Charles Darwin, or he didn't attack the way of life of Victorian people. Rather, he wanted to show that it is a common human suffering, usually facing over thousands of years. That's why he quoted Sophocles as well. The thing I am going to read a little bit later. So the Victorian England. Victorian England was the age of progression, was the age of discovery, was the age of exploration. And for this reason, certainly the people of England were getting something new that they couldn't manage or handle at a time, but they were earning lots of money. That is the thing that gave them a certain turn of life, and that's why they became ambitious, they became powerful, and that they also got some bad name like colonialist or imperialist. So this is the idea of Victorian England, but inside they were very much proud. So suddenly the whole complex of agricultural society turned into industrial one. So that's why suddenly nowadays you can also see in Corona time that people now became agrarian. Suddenly they cannot cope with the industry because of this virus. So in those days, suddenly they turned, or they switched their idea of life into industrialization. Rather focusing on agriculture, they begin to believe on money. So these are the many factors you are going to get while reading Victorianism or Victorian England. So the tone of the poem we are going to discuss now here, I already mentioned the idea of is very much melancholic. Another idea we are going to get is that pathetic fallacy. pathetic fallacy when nature or non-living being begins to feel like human. That is called pathetic fallacy. Okay. So the time and the place we're going to discuss here. That setting, the setting of the poem is Dover Beach. And what is Dover Beach? It is written here. You would learn it that it is situated in the coast of France. Is the Strait of Dover, north of England, north of English Channel, and south of North Sea. So this is the picture of Dover Beach, and it is very famous, and it became more famous by the hand of Matthew Arnold as well. So we are going to read the text right now. We got some necessary information about Matthew Arnold's time and his period. So the main focus point to understand Dover Beach is number one, Darwinism, number two, Victorian unrest, and the rise of imperialism and colonialism in England, the source of huge money. So the stanza starts with in this way: the sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits. On the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand. The thing is that, and the glimmering and vast, out in the tranquil bay, come to the window, sweet is the night air. So with the starting of the poem, we thought that he was talking to himself. It might be monologue, but suddenly with the last line of the stanza, come to the window, sweet is the night air. So that means he is talking with someone. So that thing we know, that he was with his newly married wife, and he was definitely, it's a come to the window. It's imperative sentence and a vocative case. Okay, so the come to the window, come here and watch the beautiful scenario of the night. So here the speaker, especially the poet, looks out upon a calm sea and observes the fullness of the tide and the moon reflecting on water. Looking across the English Channel, the speaker sees the lights of the French coast fade away, while the cliffs of the English coast stand tall and bright, and the bay seems calm. So this is the very, very lucid and romantic starting of Victorian poem. So the thing is that you have to understand the Romantic age ended in 1830. Make no mistake, romantic age ended in 1830, and Victorian age started with in 1832. So the poet like Matthew Arnold, they were very much keen to reading romantic poetry. So they couldn't leave the romantic idea, or they couldn't throw the romantic idea at all. That's why, though it's a Victorian poem, he began to write his a good number of pieces influenced by romantic idealism or by the romantic poets. So the starting is very romantic, and he is summoning his newly married wife to watch the beautiful scenario of England or the coast of France. But the thing is that suddenly the speaker addresses someone else and implores this person to come and look at what the speaker is looking at. So here it's a try to understand, it's a dramatic monologue, because we understand someone was present there, but he or she is not talking. But the address is clear. Though the wife, we believe that he is talking to his wife, but actually or symbolically he is talking to the talking to the Victorian people. So here his wife or his beloved is the symbol of common people. Okay. Again, the speaker instructs the other person to listen the sound that pebbles and the wave shift. You would read the explanation of this stanza on, and here some words are very much important, like calm, fair, tranquil, tranquil or sweet. These words are very much romantic, and here the speaker. And another thing we're going to get is the light. These are very much symbolical. Okay. In stanza 2, look, only from the long line of spray, where the sea meets the moon, blanched land, listen you hear the grating roar. Moon blends. Blends means white. In Bengali, pandu. That becomes white, being afraid of. When people usually become timid or fearful like rabbit, it is called blanched. So the moon is definitely is in the sky, and it is giving the land blanched color. Listen, and he is again asking, listen. You hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. Okay. So here the poet instructs the other person to listen to the sound of pebbles as the waves shift them back and forth. So here the picture you would see, that means this is the symbol, that means the wave is coming and getting back. So this is a huge process of nature, that something new comes, and when a big wave comes, it takes the old pebbles from the beach. So old pebbles is the symbol of old belief. So some new faith has come to introduce itself. So the old faith must go out. So the speaker notes its slow repeating action and identify it with eternal sadness. Look at the line. Listen, oh, hear the grating roar. Grating means cacophony. Roar means sound of pebbles which draws back and fling. That means that goes out. At their return up the high strand, begin. High strand. Strand means shore, seashore. At their return up the high strand, begin and cease, and again begin with tremulous cadence slow, and bring the eternal note of sadness in cadence. Do you know any? Is there anyone here knows the meaning of cadence? In Bengali, we say Shurer Murchona. Shurer Murchona, and in English you say is musical, rhythmical. So the Matthew Arnold, he didn't watch the water coming and going back. No, he didn't interpret the thing in this way. The thing he is watching is very much romantic, but he's interpreting the idea in this way. So this is the way of the world. Something new comes and the old ideas go back. So it is the eternal sadness. It is eternal sadness. It is eternally true that we have to leave the old ideas. But the thing made this poem beautiful and tremendous is that Matthew Arnold didn't take any side, and he didn't advocate the old legacy, or nor he advocated the Victorian ideas, that newly introduced ideas, or the scientific invention of Charles Darwin as well. So the thing here is introduced in this way and made the poem more beautiful. Okay, here use of sounds you are going to get, and use of hyperbole as a way, onomatopoeia. These things you are going to read in your leisure while watching the video again. Okay, so stanza 3. Now in stanza 3, all on a sudden he began to talk about Sophocles. Sophocles, and it is very much he was also associated with Aegean civilization or Aegean shore. So Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb flow of human misery. Turbid means opaque or muddy, ebb. So Sophocles long ago, so he introduced the poem with his beloved, and he began to listen to the old note or sadness and melancholy of old um, old life or old legacy is no longer in exist, as new legacy is going to be installed. But now he brought the ancient playwright, the master playwright Sophocles. But what is the link between this idea and Sophocles? The thing I have to discuss. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb. Turbid, I told you, turbid means muddy ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by its distance northern sea. So that means Sophocles long ago heard this melancholic idea that people is, especially in King Oedipus or in Antigone especially. That means when he talked about human misery, when he talked about Antigone's misery, when he discussed King Oedipus' misery, that means the life is filled with misery, and Sophocles also understood that. And Sophocles heard the same sadness in the Aegean Sea as the speaker hears now on the English coast. Sophocles, in the mind of the speaker, likens the sad sound of the waves to the general sorrow of humanity, which moves like the waves. The speaker then notices another thought that comes with the sound of sea. So look, so that means here he linked the idea, Matthew Arnold linked the idea, linked his idea with the idea of Sophocles. And if someone asks this question, that are you thinking this idea newly, or it was introduced? Here the answer would be Sophocles. Matthew Arnold didn't introduce it, rather reintroduced it. He knew this is not the new idea. If he says that this is my new idea, definitely it would be wrong. Rather, the thing is that he began to discuss in this way. So we are not going to. I'm not talking about something new. Rather, this is the ancient one. It is also thought by Sophocles as well. But I am one of them. He thought in Aegean coast, and now I am thinking the thing in Dover Beach. So that idea is same, and it is all about human suffering. Okay, these things, the use of metaphor, the reference of Sophocles, the idea of Antigone, it is written here. You would read it in your free time. Okay, so stanza 4. The sea of faith was once too at the full and rounds earth shore, lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled, but now I only hear its melancholy long withdrawn roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges dreader and naked singles of the world. Look at the explanation of the next thought. That means he was talking about Sophocles, and now he want to discuss it in this way. The speaker describes religious faith at sea that once full like the tide at the time. Now look at the word, the sea of faith. That means sea of faith. The faith of people was usually vast, but now look what happened to them. They do not put too much attention to the Bible or the religious scriptures. Rather, they are they are looking forward to achieving something new. At that time, it reaches around the earth like a girdle. Now, though the speaker just had the sea's sad retreat. Sad retreat, retreat means that means the sea is going back. That means the faith. That means faith is going back. The faith once came and it is going back right now. That means it is called retreating. As the sea of faith becomes smaller, says the speaker, it disappears into the atmosphere and leaves the edges of the world naked. So when there is no water, you are going to see the pebbles, or you are going to see the mud of the world. So here little bit Matthew Arnold is little bit positive towards religion as well, that he believes that something must be something, the world must be protected by faith or something like that. So it is a very sad note for those who cannot hold their belief. Also religion also took many techniques to hold or protect this world. Bangladesh is passing these types of condition right now. Nowadays, in Facebook, you are going to get, there are many pages like atheist and or non-believers, on the debate between theist and atheist. These types of things are really going on in Bangladesh as well. And because people suddenly cannot hold the old ideas because of scientific invention and that thing they are really getting right now, it is very much difficult for them to handle to the especially to the common people. That's why they become puzzled and they do not know what to do. That is the thing. That is the theme of the text. The people usually do not know what to do. Okay. So here the poetic devices are discussed here with simile and metaphor. Read it yourself. Okay. So now what to do? So Matthew Arnold again begins to talk with his beloved or his newly married wife. So what to do? The world, the faith of sea was full, but nowadays it is getting naked. People do not put too much attention towards religious belief. And what to do? So there is no way. I don't have any solution here. Matthew Arnold surrenders that I cannot do anything. Neither I can protect the old belief, neither I can protect the new faith to be introduced or to be installed. So here the poet says, "Ah, love, let us be true to one another." So suddenly he asks this question to his beloved in this way. So what might happen to the world? We do not know. We do not know the faith, what kind of faith they are going to hold to their life, what kind of dream they are going to share, whether it is beautiful or ugly, we don't care. Rather, love, let us be true to one another. So I would be faithful to you and you would be faithful to me. If this world, you believe in me and I believe in you, and if we love each other, this world would be beautiful. And for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, yes, the world is here like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help, nor pain. And from this is called anaphora, use of nor. Lots of nor is called, it is a term, anaphora, anaphora. And he was talking about the certainty of life, and he again begins to talk with not certitude. Certitude means uncertainty. Certitude means certainty, and not certitude means uncertainty. So the thing is that he just 2 lines ago he discussed that the life is beautiful, and suddenly he says that this is neither joy nor love nor light nor certitude nor peace nor help nor pain. That means nothing we have. This is called nihilism. Try to understand the pronunciation. Nihilism, Nihilism. It looks like nihilism. Nihilism. It looks like nihilism, but the pronunciation is nihilism. Try to understand. So from the positive idea, it took certain nihilism upon the mind of poet. And he says again, we are here as on a darkling plain. Darkling means dark, swept with confused alarms, struggle and flight, where the ignorant armies clash by night. That means where the ignorant armies clash by night. This is a huge idea. We need a class to discuss this line only. So in my next class, definitely I'm going to discuss where ignorant armies clash by night. But in short, the thing is that the ignorant armies, that means those people fight at night, definitely they are ignorant. And those people who are doing something without knowing anything, so what to do, that means they are really ignorant. And the people who are trying to hold their faith, and that the people who are trying to lose their faith, they are struggling between faith and faithlessness. This is the class, and they are in the midst of class, rather enjoying the life. They are in the midst of neither joy nor love nor light. They have lost all the hopes. And that's why, dear, I'm asking you, oh my love, let us be true. And we want to be true to you, and you would be true to me. And then this world would be beautiful. Forget about all those things. Okay, this is from my part. If you have any question, ask me. I hope you have understood. There is the structure. Okay.